Well, good morning, everyone. Here we are at the end of yet another year. So you may be fondly saying goodbye, or you may be embracing the new year to come, or it could just be carrying on as we all do. So our last practice of this year will be one for you to step onto your mat and sort out for yourself, as it always should be. So there may be a lot of strength in your body, a lot of energy in your body. I say use it. And you may have some extra cookies hanging around here and there. So you just manage those as well. So we'll be doing a variety of things. And you see I have a stool over there. You could bring a chair if you wanted to. However, if you don't have anything such as that, you can just use your hands on the mat. We'll be using it for some forward folds. And then I'll also be showing you can use blocks if you have blocks. And if you don't have blocks, I'll just show you if you don't have blocks or something. So there's a little prop variation. Of course, you should always have what you want. So if you like straps or blocks or whatever to use, you should. We're going to start standing. I know some of us are in the sunshine, but it's still a little chilly. Some of you may be in a wet day, but wherever you are, bring yourself to you. Give yourself a little time with yourself. And let's start standing as we come to what's called Samastiti. Standing in Tadasana, root the feet, knowing that you have the option to do the Iyengar style, the Ashtanga style, or just placing the feet parallel under your sit bones. Once you've rooted into the earth with all parts of your feet, feel the energy between your legs either drawing in or pushing out, either way. Mula Bandha, that drawing up. Uddiyana action, that drawing in. Visualize your spine lifting, and that will take you maybe from this well-rounded position to a more lifted, giving more space to your internal organs. Relax through the neck and the shoulders, crown of the head towards sky, fingers actively reach to the earth. It's my supposition that when the hands are relaxed, the rest of the body may as well. So we root into the earth, lift into the sky. Take a moment to just be present, pushing away distractions. I may have distractions here, you may have distractions there. You can have your eyes opened or lowered or closed. And then when you close your eyes or lower them, you may notice this gentle swaying. That's a thing. And then wander through your body and reassess the foundation that you began. Notice where you might be holding tension as you pay attention to your breath, its natural cadence. Feel that you can kind of squirm into this Tadasana, that it's not necessarily a place you find right away. It's one that you explore and feel curious about, like so many of our poses. Deepening the breath, grounding, feeling strong and stable. Recognizing the essence of you, all the positive aspects of ourselves. Flutter the eyes open, reach the arms toward the sides of your space. And then we're just going to turn the palms up and down a few times. Anything that I offer today that doesn't feel appropriate for you, you can just do a workaround or skip it or return into a child's pose. Leave the palms up as the shoulders allow. Lift the arms, lift the heart. Maybe lift your focus upward. Kind of that embrace the day. Exhale, bend the knees and bind the hands. And know that your bind can be as simple as grabbing the thumb, grabbing the hands, or lacing the fingers. Kind of depends. Keep the elbows bent, keep the knees bent. So we're going to start as a gentle forward fold. This plays with blood pressure. For some people, that's something you need to pay attention to. I'm going to turn sideways. So my knees are bent, my elbows are bent. And as I tip over with my knees bent, I'm going to see if I can just bring the hands gently off my back. Look to the floor. Put the hands back on your back. Squeeze the inner thighs. Rise all the way up. Bend the knees, lift the arms, bow over. Just a few gentle tipping over without falling over. Moving into what might be a little straighter arm, a little further in your fold, probably keeping the knees bent. Assessing how your spine is managing this as it straightens itself up and rounds itself over. Once more. As I come up, let those hips protrude a little further forward. So instead of just up, kind of lean a little back. Hands can stay at your small of your back. And then right yourself with your hands onto your sides. How's your blood pressure? Take the feet a little wider and then move in that hula. Mula Bandha, Aksana Buddhayana. Kind of take the feeling through the sacrum and give it a little love. Go the other way. And so again, I'll turn sideways. Let's keep this wide stance and stand on, it won't matter which foot, stand on one and then put the other foot back. Both knees are bent and you're on the ball of the back foot. Looks like this from the front, so I'm not turning my foot out. Yes. So get grounded because this can be a little wobbly. And then once again, grab the hands or the thumb or lace the fingers. Two things will happen. Now we will try and straighten the arms as well as straightening the back leg and straightening the front leg. Coming back to bending the elbows and bending both knees. And you can adjust the feet if they feel they need a little adjustment. Maybe taking a little wider stance. Waking up our bendy toes. Here's the last one. I'm going to let go of my hands, step my feet up. Remember, my feet are apart for a better base. Bend both knees, put my other toe back. Get yourself grounded rather than feeling perched. Ground. Rebind the hands in any fashion that you want. Find your breath and your bandhas. And now as I work to straighten my elbows, pulling my shoulders back and lowering the heel and then straightening the front leg and returning back to everything being bent. So getting straight and being bent. If this is too much for your balance today, it's okay to hold on to that chair or wall with one hand. So let's do this one last time. Let go, straighten up, stand together. Well, I am warming up, so I'm going to shed a layer. Okay, so if you need yours on, keep yours on. Nice to bring a little energy into my body so it feels ready to go. So a little more for the hips. We're going to be doing eagle pose today. This one a little much lighter. So let's get a little bit with the hips. And again, if you needed to steady yourself with the wall or if you had a chair, use whichever leg that you want. So if you're holding on to or not holding on to, the working leg will move from the hip joint across and open and across and open. Now how high that leg comes, I don't know. I don't really judge. It may be better to take it a little lower to the floor. Maybe that's more accommodating to a hip thing. Or engage through Uddiyana and see if you can get that full half circle. Last one. And pause. Sometimes there's popping and cracking. As long as it doesn't hurt, we should be okay. So we'll try the other leg. So you can see when I shift out of my balance, I go back down onto that foot to land, reset. Okay, narrow your stance a little, slide the hands down the legs, and we'll do this full body stretch we have done before. Let's just say your right hand is on your right thigh. That leg is going to stay bent, but the left leg will straighten and the left arm will reach above as far as above feels appropriate. And maybe you even look up, or maybe you even lower your body a little more. Oh, my back just popped. Breathe. Bend both knees as the high hand comes down. Check in with blood pressure. So now stay on what would be your left hand and left leg. Right leg will straighten, right arm will reach, and you could stay on the higher side, or you could lower your head. And come back down. So let's go once more to the first side. And coming down, and once more to the other side. And then rolling mindfully from the belly all the way up. And let's see if we can do a little posture alignment. Let's let go of maybe habits that we knew. So for hips, for me, I've been known to be a hip hanger. Do you see what happened? I let my hips hang forward. I especially notice this when I'm taking pictures somewhere. I kind of go like this, and then maybe I stay like that. So I'm lucky enough to have friends that go, Karen, you're hanging on your hips. That could be you. You could just kind of be a hanger on the hips, or you could be a shoulder rounder. So we all have these patterns that develop. So let's see if we can self-correct our posture. Put the hands on your hips, feeling the hip bones in the front. And we're going to look for what's called neutral or your natural spine. So we know that there's the action of Uddiyana and there's the squeezing of the bums. So it doesn't matter if you're squeezing the bums or drawing the belly in, but you just want to feel that rock of the pelvis going forward so that you're tipping that pelvis up and then come back. Pause in neutral or what you think is neutral, and then take the fingers and push the hip bones back and stick out the bum, keeping the chest lifted rather than rounding forward. And then come back to what you feel is neutral. Keeping your knees a little bent will make it easier. And again, move into posterior tilt, anterior tilt. And trying to find where is that in-between place, and does that feel usual or unusual? So take one more of tipping the pelvis up, and then see if you can settle. Chest is lifted. Kind of feel your shoulders are over your hips. As you release the arms down, you should be able to touch your sides, not your lap, not your bum. And then straighten up the legs. Sometimes by straightening the legs, that puts you into those patterns. So let's try and be that better version of ourselves today. All right, I'm going to grab my blocks and I'll use two of them. If you have a chair, turn it so the seat of the chair is next to you, and then I'll be using that little ottoman, that little footstool over there. So these are forward folds, supported. In the block, I'm going to put my head in the chair. I'll put my head, and if you have nothing, I'll show you in a moment. So we know that we often stand like this with the feet apart, the knees bent, not turned out, and we hang forward, and sometimes we sway. So this time we're just going to hang forward. But see if you can rest your head on the blocks, like so. And it might take a little while to find where that balance is, a little more stable over here, a little further down. And for those of you who say, I don't have any props, Karen, that's okay. You're just going to be a little more mindful to adducting or squeezing your inner thighs and not worry about how far you're going. So the fact that we have a little bit of support, maybe 2 blocks is too much. Maybe you're the person that can go a little further down. Depends on your day, where you are today. Move your hands to your thighs. Take the weight into your hands. Carefully roll up. This will affect your blood pressure. Coming all the way up. Find neutral. Sometimes there's little black spots. So if you need to sit down, sit down. So let's do one more with the arms folded. A bending of the knees as much as you need to Uttanasana, to forward fold. Again, either stopping with your head on the high double block or at the lower block. Once you get that head situated, the arms will fall more freely. So while you're in this forward fold, somewhat suspended forward, be mindful of the sensations. Remove the hands to your thighs, adduct your legs together, find yourself coming up to that neutral position. Neutral position. So this time we'll do the same thing. Hands will go behind, grab them, lace them, hold onto a thumb, bend the knees, hinge forward. Now we take those arms that we've been doing and lift them way higher. So you can be suspended, you can be supported. Imagine my hands have come and are trying to bring your hands a little further forward. Release the hands to your thighs, mindfully roll yourself up, articulating your spine, aiming to hit neutral, neutral, and then bringing your feet a little closer together. Nice, so we've done a little bit of stretching for the back of the lower body, the front of the lower body, and the front of the upper body. Let's go to the back of the leg. So if you want to elevate your leg, that will be useful. Sometimes putting this down is a little better so it doesn't flip up. You can simply put the heel on that, back up the hips, hinging forward. Feel free to use the hands or not use the hands as you lean out into Uttanasana, or if you have the chair or the bolster or the footstool, you can here. So this is a really big stretch, and it's very helpful for so many things that we do in our practice. Mindfully return to standing, neutral standing, and then onto the other leg. And you may find one leg more responsive, less responsive. Good morning, hamstrings. Okay, let's clear our mat of any props that we have, but keep your chair, or if you want blocks, at one end. It's not quite on my mat. So we won't be starting at that end right now. We're going to start at the other end. Now, I don't know how you have your mat positioned, but make yourself easily to watch. Come to the end of the mat, in Tadasana, neutral spine. Bend the knees and sit into modified chair pose, just for the moment. Join the palms together and into the heart. Draw into your breath. For those who can, go lower. For those who find that troublesome, maybe go higher. Ground all parts of the feet. And then shift your foot forward. Shift your body forward. Standing on the right foot, lift your left heel. See if you can lift that foot up. So you're balancing on one foot. It will help you to lean forward as you stretch that left foot back until your toe touches with a straight leg. Wiggle that foot or slide it however it goes on your mat while still leaning forward. Push through the heel, ground into the legs. Use the hands to push the heart up, and then either lace the fingers or cross the thumbs, and then press the arms forward. Either way. Anchor your shoulders, engage through the bandhas. Stay here or consider taking those hands behind the head, letting the elbows fall back as you cradle the head, perhaps taking your focus upward a little or outward a little more. And what we should feel is the front of that back leg, so make sure the knee is straight and that it hasn't softened. Release the arms for everybody. Hands come down, one to each side. So if you had blocks, you could use your blocks here. Not using blocks, hands come to your floor. And then keep sinking down, taking care of the front knee. With the right foot in front, you're going to come on your left palm or knuckle, anchor that shoulder, and then open to the bent knee. So you may be on a different leg, that's fine. Just turn toward the bent leg. Release down, drop your back heel as you establish warrior grounding. Put the right hand on your right leg, reverse it if you're on the other side, and reach your left arm forward as you come into that elongated spine. Pulling the left arm back toward the left leg, reaching the right arm to Virabhadrasana 2. Commit to your lunge, the front thigh may be speaking to you. Now we feel a little different pull. This is a little more in the groin rather than the top of the thigh. Flipping the back heel up, opening the arms to the side for balance in crescent pose. Try and find neutral so you're not leaning forward and you're not leaning back. Drop the arms, step up, lift the arms, join the palms. Chair pose. So again, be curious about your pose. Are you the one that always kind of falls forward, maybe a little more upright? Do you go too high? Can you go a little deeper? Shift your body weight forward and onto your left leg, raising the right heel or lifting the right foot entirely. While still leaning forward, reach the right foot back, hip distance, and then wiggle and slide while leaning forward. I can tell you that is the key. Stay on the ball of your foot. Use the hands to lift the heart. Now feel grounded rather than perched. Squeeze the back leg straight, open the front of your thigh. Once again, lace the fingers or fold the hands and express the arms forward. Anchor the shoulders, zip up your zipper. Not leaning forward, not leaning back, staying in neutral. Leaving the hands where they are, or consider placing the hands to cradle the head and then letting the head just lean back a wee bit more. Breathing. We all release the hands and let them float down to the earth, adjacent to the front leg. Dropping the hips, lifting the chest. Feel free to use your blocks here. Lean onto the hand of the front leg, so it's now should be, onto the, not to the right leg, so you can turn toward the bent leg and then open up. So you're going to turn toward the bent knee. That's what you meant to say. With breath. So this time, bring the hand down. We're going to go into a down dog. So as I lift up my hips, take the front foot to the back foot. Position your feet where they feel proper. Sinking the heels, pressing into the pads of each one of the hands. So now begin to lean a little from side to side. Stand on your left foot, pick up the right foot, bend the knee, step it up, and drop the back heel. Trying to think if this is the right side. Maybe it's the other side. So let's go back to down dog. Now pick up your left foot, swing it forward, step it up, and drop the back heel. Put your left hand on your left knee, reach the right arm forward. Now work through the muscles in the back. So I'm not leaning, I'm lifting, really don't need that hand. Let the right arm reach behind you. Find neutral spine. So you feel perpendicular to earth with your torso. Commit to the lunge. Breathe. Flip the back heel up. Arms go to the side. Wobbly pose, crescent pose. Step up and reach. And join the palms. And now let's use, if you have a chair or a footstool, and if not, you're going to use the floor. So this will be one that's familiar. I'll set it on the prop, but you can do exactly what I'm doing on the floor. If you're using a chair, make sure it is not going to slide. I've put mine on a rug over there, so it's pretty stable. So we don't need chairs or furniture tipping over. And of course you can use the floor. So now I'm at the other end of my mat, so position yourself as need be. Tadasana, neutral spine. Breath in as the arms rise. Exhale, bend the knees and put your hands onto either the seat of the chair or the floor. Walk back into downward facing dog. So with a chair or with a footstool, arms are straight, legs are straight. We're all in our down dog. Let's all lift the right leg for a three-legged dog and put it down. Lift the left leg for a three-legged dog and put it down. Once more, lift the right leg, keep it up. Look forward, bend the knee, and move it forward. Some of you will bring the knee to the chair. Some of you will come around on the floor, knee to your elbow. Go back to your three-legged dog and downward dog. Then the left leg goes up, three-legged dog. Bring the left knee forward. Either go between or around your leg. Push back to the three-legged dog. And downward dog. Once more each side. Right leg lifts, breathe in. Right knee draws forward, breathe out. Back to three-legged dog, breathe in. Downward dog, breathe out. Left leg, inhale, up. Exhale, draw forward, look forward. Inhale, press back, three-legged dog. Exhale, downward dog. And let's all come to the knees. And you can keep your hands on your chair or footstool or on the floor, child's pose. So with your arms elevated, there's more of your body hanging through on the shoulders. If you find that too much, just come down on the mat. So we're going to go back and use the same thing we did, but we'll do it three times per side. So it'll be right three-legged dog, knee forward, twice three-legged dog, knee forward, third time three-legged dog forward, and downward dog to the other side. If there are wrist issues, try using your knuckles. It will work for down dog. It's much more challenging on a chair, so you may prefer the floor. All right, let's come to our downward dog, wherever it is that you're going to do. So be curious about how far, and without judgment, we lift the right leg and breathe in. We bring the right leg forward and breathe out. Push back, three-legged dog, breathe in. Come forward, exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward. And step into downward dog. So we can prepare for the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, move forward. Push back, three-legged dog as you breathe in. Exhale, look forward. One more, three-legged dog. And draw forward. And downward dog. Now you can take a moment in child's pose, or you can go with me to second step. Right leg lifts, breathe in. Draw forward, breathe out. Again, breathe in, lift. And breathe out, look forward. One more, breathe in. Knee forward, breathe out. Downward dog. And prepare for the other side. Last time. Left leg, breathe in. Bend the knee, breathe out. Inhale, breathe in. Exhale, pull forward. Last time, lift. And draw forward. Downward dog. And on into child's pose, where we all meet up. Let's come down onto the mat to do a little bit of preparation work for the hips for the eagle pose, where we'll go back up again. So bring yourself onto your mat and face the short end. Are you warm? So this one will move you forward, so I would say scoot back. And then once you're back, you put the feet to the edge on each side of your mat. Now pay attention to how your backs and hips feel. Modify by going smaller if necessary. Hands can be there for support as you get more, shall we say, proficient. Maybe you don't need to use your hands, but you can use your hands. Bandhas and breath, and what will happen is one knee will move inward, so you have both knees drop to one side, and then come up, and then roll, and the knees will go the other side. So it may not seem like too much, so maybe you say, oh, let me try not using my hands. And you may move, some people don't. I do. I don't know why, but I'm going to move up to the end of my mat by the end of this. So if you need the hand for support, there's a lot going on here, don't you think? Well, you can see I did true to my word, move up on my mat. So I'm going to walk back one more time and turn and face you. Bandha Konasana, cobbler's pose. This is where you might want to sit on a pillow or a blanket and notice where you are. So coming back to that, where is my neutral position? I often face sideways to show you. This is me leaning back toward my tailbone, creating dumping into my low back. This is me leaning too far forward. See if you can get up on your sit bones, perhaps using the buns away technique, and feel that you are properly placed, not too far forward and not leaning back. Now I know not everyone's knees will fall to where mine are. Thank goodness we're all a little different. So if you look like this, that's okay. And if you prefer to put your hands here, that's also okay. You get to be you. Where your feet are, your choice. Some people say they need to be here. Some people say, I can't, they should be there. So you just find that position for yourself. So I'm lifting nice and tall. Now I want that hinge. So I'm going to take my neutral spine and hinge it forward rather than rounding forward. I will get there ultimately. So as I go forward, take stock of what you're feeling, where you're feeling it, and did you just crunch your shoulders up to your ears? Relax. So you might not be going very far forward, and you know what? No judgment from me. Then use the weight of your head to look down at your feet, or you may bow the head so the head moves toward the feet. And in this forward fold, we breathe, coming back to that spine stretch we felt earlier. And as you gently come out of that, oh, my hips really need this today. I'm going to bring the knees up, and let's take your right leg forward as you would be facing me. Your left leg can stay inside or cross over, either way. And you can also take that extended leg for those that maybe don't have knee issues. I lean over, but I don't put it under my bum. It's just off to the side, and I land back down so I'm sitting on my bums. This is a little more for hips. This doesn't have to be you. You can have one leg extended. Now the leg that's up and crossed, which probably looks like your left leg, will be held up by the right hand. The left hand will support you. And again, be a little curious. Where do you feel this most? So we're looking for a little bit of hip action here. Lead with the shoulder of the arm behind you as you lead tall. Breathe in and just look off to the side. So I move my belly around, holding that knee up, and you can keep holding the knee with the hand. Some people like to wrap it around. Some people like to press the upper arm on the outer thigh. One more time, pull that shoulder back and maybe look behind you at the year gone by. And return forward. Now we're going to stay and do one more on the side, as I really want us to be. I struggle with the eagle pose myself on one side. So if you did have that leg folded under, you're going to open up that leg and place the leg inside. So I have right leg extended, left leg bent. Use the hands behind and lift up nice and tall, and just see if you can, with your own, without external resistance, press that leg down, lifting up your chest. So I'm going to switch legs, but not go to the first exercise. So I've got the left leg in. I'm just going to tuck the right leg in front of it, not to cross them under like Sukhasana, but my right leg is more in front. I can see my right foot under here, and my hands again get me up nice and tall. Again, your legs may not fold down, your legs may be more up here, and we're going to do that hinge going forward. So let me turn a little to the side to give you a little better view. So here's where my legs are. Here's where my spine is. Now I hinge forward, and then perhaps I take my hands forward without slingshotting back and walk out. And let's notice where we feel this. Is it in the hip of the front leg? So if your legs are uptight, don't worry. I know you're not going to perhaps go as far. And sometimes the other leg is felt because you got to move one part to get to the next part. But what we all can do is walk your hands in the direction of the foot that's in front of you. So likely to your left. As you walk diagonal, should get you a little more into that right hip, I say. And then let your head bow down. And it might actually go to your foot on this side. Walk your hands back center and gently return yourself to up. Fold the knees up. Straighten out your left leg as we go to the twist. So remember, option 1 is to do this, option 2 is to do this, and option 3 is to tuck that leg in and do it this way. Sometimes it may vary from side to side given needs, but so hold that knee up, hold that spine up, draw the right shoulder or the other shoulder back, and then lift as you rotate just to look off to the side. And again, draw the shoulder behind you back and look around. Turn around. As you return center, extend the leg, let the foot fall inside. Hands behind, sit up tall, press that leg down. Watch the knee. The leg in front is active, it's not passive, it's pushing outward. And now fold that extended leg, most likely your left, in a bit. If I can skip back, you can see my foot is here. Floor is cold. And I need to lift nice and tall as I begin to hinge forward. My hope is that my left hip will feel it, but maybe not so much because I pre-stretched it, right? And then walking my hands outward, giving support to my back. And depending on your configuration, again, if your knees are up more, it's going to be hard to really go forward. But when I have you move to the side, hopefully you'll get a little more out of that hip. Go ahead and walk those hands off toward the direction of the foot that's in front of you. So if it's your left foot, walk to your right, and then slowly bow your head. It might actually touch that left foot. Walking your hands back center and use them to support you as you come all the way up. So I'm going to ask us to stand up without the use of the hands. Use them if you need to. I'm going to just see if I can cross my legs and come up this way. I kind of can. Good day. So eagle pose. If you've not done the eagle pose in a while, and I was practicing in my bathroom earlier, I noticed this leg, well, it's a little better now. It doesn't come around as easily as this leg. So whether you wrap entirely or not is not so important. There's a balance element, there's a hip element, and then there's a broadening of the back. Now let me scoot in a little closer to you to show you something that I've learned over the years. So I was in Hawaii taking a yoga class, and when we did the eagle pose, I noticed, do you see? It's my left shoulder, but it looks like my right to you. Do you see how it's up? So I saw that in the mirror and went, that's not right. And I had to use my serratus. I had to use the back muscle to pull it down. Do you see now it's more equal? And I'm not saying that you have weakness like I have weakness. So be mindful that when I say we place our arms, and even if they're like this, when I ask you to anchor your shoulders, it's pulling the muscles in the back down to anchor the shoulders. Okay, just a little sidebar. If your balance is a little off, use the chair or a wall to steady yourself. Then you can add your arms in secondly. If you can do this all together, I'll get us there together. Tadasana. I'm going to be standing on what will look like your left leg and moving with the right leg. Make it work for you. On the inhale, the right knee will bend, the arms come out, see the thumbs are down and pinky finger is up. Right away, bend the leg you're standing on. So I was here and I went down like this, not leaning forward, I'm staying upright. Sink, sink, sink. Really ground. We did this earlier at the end of our mat. So as the right leg comes over, my left arm will cross over and I'm going to let it just rest on the floor here, staying seated. Your hands may go here, you anchor the shoulders. Your elbows may be here, you anchor the shoulders. You may wrap into the hands. For those of you who can take the foot that's come across and wrap it behind the ankle, be my guest. Once you've anchored the shoulders, draw the elbows in and gaze outward using the floor, because you're very low, or wrapping the foot and breathing. If you've used the chair to get here, see if you can begin to let go and breathe. Now when we fly the eagle, stand up, thumbs down, open your leg, and close the posture. Other side. Inhale, thumbs down, pinky fingers up, bend the left knee. Standing knee bends, round. As you raise the left leg to cross the right arm over, go ahead and touch it on the floor for the time being. Bend the elbows and get your shoulders anchored. Stay here or wrap the foot and lean forward and breathe. Fly the eagle, standing up, close the posture. So let's do it one more time. First time it's like, what? Second time, okay. Ground into your, what would be your left leg, bending the standing knee, lifting the opposite leg, the opposite arm, wrapping, sinking, hinging, and breathe. Standing up, we fly the eagle, breathe in, and close the posture, breathe out. Extract your strength, your mindfulness, raising left heel, bending right knee, crossing left over right with legs, right over left with arms. Go ahead, leave the foot down or wrap it. Anchor your shoulders, hinge forward, breathe. Breathing in, fly the eagle, and close. So neutral spine. I'm with you. Sense the warmth you've created in your body, the challenge you've created for yourself. So we're going to go onto our backs, and you have the option to elevate the feet either with a footstool or the seat of a chair. And if you don't, that's okay. Maybe you can use the blocks. I'll see if I can use the blocks. Shall we go to the floor? No hands. Take a seat. So I'm going to put my feet lightly up on the seat. And if I didn't do that, I'm going to see. I could do the blocks. You could, if you have blocks, you could do blocks. So you'll either be here, feet very light. Hands will come behind the head. Find your, well, wait, let's put our feet on the floor for the time being and see if you can just find that neutral spine. You can have your hands by your side. I move mine here because I want you to notice what I'm going to do. So you can feel your hip bones, is what we did standing. As I feel my low back push down and tip my pelvis, that's one. Then I feel coming back to what neutral would be with that little bit of curve on the back. And then go the other way, kind of creating an exaggerated arch in my back, pointing my pelvis downward. So I'll put the hands on my hips. Now I'm engaging through the abdominal wall as I move to the two ends of the tip of the pelvis. And what I'm looking for is the in-between neutral. And this is going to be perhaps a bit easier for you to feel. So natural should not be hanging forward, or it should not be pushing back. It should be that mindful engagement of your core without pressing the back down, without tipping the pelvis. It's kind of a push of mind for us. Okay, once you have that, you can put the feet lightly on the blocks, or if you have a chair seat, and then go ahead, pick up your head. So again, reset your pelvis. Did you go here? Did you go here? Where are you? Inquiring minds want to know. So with my knees bent, I'm going to simply lift up one leg and put it back down. So the spine is remaining neutral. The abdominal wall is safeguarding my low back, which is in a natural position. Now, if your feet are up on the chair seat, it's this, leg coming towards your body. No movement in your low back. Now I'm going to move on to two legs. That may not be appropriate for you. I am not doing this. This is not that. It's just my leg stays in the bent knee position. For those who say, I think I could lift two legs. Now check that when you do this, you're not dumping your low back and rounding. So this is all stable. If you find two legs too much, and I don't put them on the floor, that would be a bit much, I think. And I'm holding my head up, resting my head into my hands. You can always go back to a one leg if that feels better or more appropriate. And let's go ahead, leave the feet down on wherever they are. Let the head come down and let the arms come down. Let your back relax. Let your back relax. And for the next one, if you're using blocks, it's going to be safer if you tip them over on the flattest side, or just put your feet on the floor. This is bridging. So I'm going to turn these on the long way. So I'm going to bridge. You can do bridge on the mat, feet on the mat, or I've got them on blocks right now. Can you see my purple blocks? So I'm going to bridge up. Look at that. With the elevated feet, my bridge is so much higher, and drop down. Coming back to neutral, not letting my back come down, but not letting my back stay arched. So find that neutral position, rise up, and then see if you can find it again when you land. If you're a little higher on the chair, perhaps, do the same thing, elevating up, look at that height, and coming back down. Looking for that neutral landing. Play with this a few times. You may need to have your heels or your feet, and watch out, sometimes hamstrings might yell at you. I find this one to be one I have to be really mindful of. Coming back down and finding neutral takes a bit of effort for me. There is some glute involved. Do you feel your bums squeezing your southern cheeks? And next time you come down, let's pause, rest. You can put your feet on the floor, you can rest your feet up on the chair. Just give yourself a moment. This is the crisscross. So what will happen? Your legs can be on the floor, your legs can be up on your feet can be on the block or up on the chair. So one shoulder will be down. The shoulder that's down will be the leg coming in, and I will lift the shoulder as if it's trying to come to the thigh, as if I had no arm. So it would just be that motion, as opposed to this motion. Look, I'm not even twisting, I'm just bringing my elbow and knee up and down, not involving my core whatsoever. So be mindful as that bottom shoulder on the moving leg stays down, and then other side. So thinking more elbow to knee, and yes, you can use the chair. And then if you did your legs straight, let me scoot back a bit. So I have my feet elevated on the blocks. Neutral spine, and I move into this. Now, if I was not using blocks or not using a chair seat, I might want the knees bent. So there are some variations. I encourage you to use the variation best for you. Cradling your head, keeping your eyes outward rather than looking upward and off to the side. That can put a little bit much in for people who tend to have a little bit of vestibular issues. So keep on going. I'm going to join you because I get the benefits when I do these myself. Using your breath. Now this is a pretty traditional movement. And then pause. Now with yoga, we can introduce another element of mindfulness. This is an option. You can repeat what we've just been doing, or you can keep your head up. So you'll go over and then both feet up. So you have one foot go down, or if there was space, one foot go out, and your head will never go down to the mat. You could have your feet lower. So you could have your feet lower. So there's some variations, but you pick the one that's best for you. If I didn't have anything, just had my mat, I would be doing this. And pause. You might even want to go up into a bridge. Might feel good. And release. Coming over onto our bellies. So for those of us who have some props in our block, in our midst, I'm going to move them off. And I'm going to go to some planking variations. If being on your palms doesn't suit you, forearms are always available. If you wanted to step it up a little bit, just go out on a bang at the end of the year, I'll show you that option. So option 1, traditional plank. Hips are not high, hips are not low, engage and look outward rather than downward. Option 2, forearms are down, same thing, no high hips, no low hips. And then for those who want to like rock it, maybe I'll try. I would start from the hands and go to the arms and come back up to the hands. So you have 3 options. We're going to be in it for breaths. You'll probably breathe faster. So let's go for about 8 to 10 breaths. And when you're done with that, child's pose. When you're ready. Okay, let's all take a child's pose. Side arm plank. Oh darn, I forgot to set my watch for my workout. I won't get credit. So you want to be on the long end, just so you can see me in some fashion. Traditional, you have one leg extended. You put one foot out on the edge of your foot and stack, and you're here. Can you do this with your feet like this or like this? You can. Can you do it like this? You can. Take what I've done on the floor and put it like this. So you see it's not this, this, not this, it's just like this, translated onto the side. So when you're ready, and if you say, oh, not doing my wrist, you go to the forearm, and it's the same thing. On the edges of the feet, and lifting up, or 2 feet if you prefer. Strengthening our shoulders, strengthening our arms, strengthening our core. Well, I've been counting my breaths, and I am ready to move to the other side. You may be sooner or later than me. That's okay. So anchor. Now you see right now my shoulder is behind my hand. When I get up onto my leg, my shoulder will be over. I'm not on my mat, so let me scoot up. And when you're ready, and I'm coming down. Well, challenges that we give to ourselves help us meet those challenges in real life, but we practice on our mat. Okay, when we're on our belly, and we do this to strengthen the back, we'll start with the pyramid pose, and then we'll move into variations on, well, some call it Superman, Sala Masala, airplane, whatever. So I'm going to be laying on the long end of my mat and position my elbows according to my back's needs. Relax the feet so the tops of the feet are down and grounded. I watch people do this and their legs come up. Elbows traditionally under the shoulders. If that feels like that's too much pitch in your back, elbows forward of the shoulders. Press down into the hands, the forearm, the elbow. As you're pressing down, the chest lifts and you're anchored. Gazing outward, bringing the heart forward, I would like for you to feel the belly button, but not the hips are lifting. So just pull that belly button up. Try not to squeeze your tush and be the Sphinx. When you come to the end of your 8th, 9th, or 10th breath, you'll just relax yourself gently and breathe through the backside of your body. So you may notice that when you're not breathing so fast, you hold the pose longer. Wonder why that works. So we'll start with the modifications. As the hands come to your side, the elbows are down and the palms are down. Using the hands, lift the chest. So it's kind of like a Sphinx, but you don't have as much support. This is all you might want to do. I'm good with this. And then come back down. So it'll be lifting and lowering. Yes, you use your hands. For those who say, I could do more, you're going to start going here and then work to maybe push up off the elbows and come back down. And then for those who say, my back is healthy, or at least I don't feel any pain, you might consider doing this, where you fully extend the elbow. I'm not saying you should. It's not necessarily any better. The fact that you're going slow and mindful for the last few is the important part. And let's all come down and fold the arms and give a little rest. So the other end of the body is kind of interesting. You're going to bend the knees up. And let them begin to swing from side to side. And then straighten them back out. And use one knee, and you're going to bring it up alongside of you. I brought my knee up. I'm pulling it up alongside of me. I'm holding it up there, thinking of my hip pressing down. Kind of like half a frog pose. Slide that foot down, pull the other leg up. Slide that foot down. Roll yourself over to your backside, drawing the knees in, holding them together, making some small circles. Your head could be on a pillow if that's better. Going in the other direction with your circles. Flaring the knees open, reaching between, grabbing the ankles, grabbing the big toe, grabbing the back of your thigh, or grabbing your calves. Open your legs wide to the side. The important thing is these legs are straight. and bend in your knees. Let's leave the knees bent with the feet on the mat. Walk the feet out so the knees gently fall together. We're going to make mountains. These are like Peter Max mountains with my legs. And then I'm going to make mountains with my arms. So my arms are up. I'm going to bend the elbows. Think of eagles. My elbows are pointing up and my arms fall by the side. So these are like my mountains and there are my mountains. Changing the arms, remember which one is closest to your face as now you cross the other arm in front. Keep the elbows up, let the arms fall by the shoulder. Release the arms, bring the knees in. And now as we prepare for Shavasana, you might want to pick up your socks and put them on your feet. You might want to put your robe or hoodie on. You may want to go on your back. You may want to lay on your side. And because today we had a chair here, if you wanted to elevate the feet or turn and put them up the wall, that's nice. So find yourself in a position for your own time, for our, as I call it, important part of Shavasana. We tune into ourselves to learn to push away the distractions that we ourselves create. So once you get yourself surrendered on the mat in a fashion appropriate, you can lower or close your eyes, and if you're lucky enough to have a eye pillow, those are very nice. So now you do nothing physically. And inevitably that also leads to a mental movement. So let's see if we can rest the mind. So maybe you want to wander through the body and see how she's feeling. Feeling the weight of the head, the weight of the shoulders, the weight of your hips, the heaviness of the legs. Safe, surrendered on Mother Earth. And maybe this is an easy way for you to just drift into nothingness. Or maybe you wander into nature, or maybe you hang out with your breath. Wait in this space until I ring the singing bowl, and let this time be yours. And there's the singing bowl to welcome you back. Breathing more deeply and maybe wiggling your fingers and toes, awakening that rested body. And in a form that suits you, I'll share some thoughts for us today about keeping on from someone anonymous. The race is not always to the swift, but to those who keep on running. In life, even more than in fables, what counts is that we keep going, despite the obstacles in front of us. And there are plenty of examples of what happens to those who win fame, fortune, or power too quickly. All we have to do is browse the magazines, the internet, to see them. And most of us won't have our lives chronicled in print, but we will still have lives of value. We love others, do the best we can, and just keep getting out of bed every morning and going about our daily business. And so thought for us today, there are many things I'd like to accomplish or wish I had accomplished already. I won't be frustrated by not having done everything I aspire to. I'll just keep working at it. So with that said, come on up to a seated position. So we say goodbye to this year that may have been a wonderful year for you or a frustrating year, but you know what? It doesn't matter because it's almost over. And so we look with fresh eyes onto the new year, maybe make those resolutions or not. And that's when I will see you next in the new year. So I wish for you a peaceful transition. I am grateful for your presence. Namaste. Thank you for participating.